Hey, what's happening, man?
Part of what makes the Kingdom Hearts series so memorable is its cameos, from both Square Enix and Disney.
Show me your stuff!
Welcome back to Destiny Island's Top 10, and today we're counting down our top 10 Square Enix cameos throughout all of the Kingdom Hearts games. If you're looking for our favorite Disney cameos, you'll have to wait for another list on another day.
That hurt too!
Number 10. The Highwind, Final Fantasy franchise. We're starting off our list with a rather minor cameo from Square's history, but one that we were pleasantly surprised to see when we came across it. The term Highwind has found its way into pretty much every Final Fantasy game ever made, in one form or another, but there is one in particular that is the most famous in the franchise. That is, Cid's airship from Final Fantasy VII. Seeing as how the Gummy Ship is the Kingdom Hearts equivalent to a Final Fantasy airship, what better way to sneak in a little nod to Final Fantasy than by having the Highwind be the default name for the Gummy Ship when you first start in the game. Number 9. Biggs and Wedge, Final Fantasy franchise.
So you're Wedge's friend, is that right?
That's right. Biggs is the name.
This one is sort of a test of how well you know your Final Fantasy. Biggs and Wedge are recurring characters throughout the Final Fantasy franchise, almost always appearing as minor characters who serve no real purpose.
Join the event, see for yourself.
Keeping in step with this tradition, we bet most of you didn't even know that these two had hopped franchises and made their way into Kingdom Hearts 2. They can be found making very minor appearances in Twilight Town and Hollow Bastion. Biggs happens to be the announcer during the Struggle tournament while playing as Roxas in the opening sequence of the game, while Wedge can be found in one of the shops in the main plaza in Hollow Bastion.
Hey now, it's time to introduce today's combatants.
Number 8. The Gullwings, Final Fantasy X-2.
Y-R-P. In position. It's showtime, girls.
While we weren't overly pleased with how this cameo was executed, we still love the fact that it exists at all. Not many people give Final Fantasy X-2 the love we think it deserves, so seeing the inclusion of Yuna, Riku, and Pain in Kingdom Hearts 2 was a nice little surprise. However, their appearance is brief and relatively pointless, which prevents it from ranking higher on our countdown.
Who are you?
Oh, we're nothing worth mentioning.
Just 3 treasure fanatics.
Later, taters!
Number 7. The Behemoth, Final Fantasy franchise.
Hold up.
The Behemoth is a recurring enemy in the Final Fantasy franchise. It's always big, it's always powerful, and for some reason, it's always purple. Switch to Kingdom Hearts and oh, would you look at that, a Heartless that's big, powerful, and purple. What else could you call it besides a behemoth?
Defense!
Number 6. Moogles, Final Fantasy franchise.
I remember everything now. We're headed to the place where I was born, Kubo.
Moogles are another Final Fantasy staple that managed to find their way into almost every major installment in the franchise. In the Kingdom Hearts universe, Moogles are business-minded entrepreneurs with a penchant for selling and synthesizing items, weapons, and accessories for our heroes. If you've got the money, that's M-U-N-N-Y of course, they've got the goods. Number 5. Leon, Squall Lionheart, Final Fantasy VIII.
What? There's no way you're getting this!
Alright, then have it your way.
Squall is a pretty well-known character within the Final Fantasy franchise. As the lead character from Final Fantasy VIII, many fans became quite attached to this stoic, gunblade-wielding hero, and so did we. In the Kingdom Hearts series, Squall,
That's Leon.
Leon, serves as a close friend of Sora's who's constantly giving him tips and advice along their journeys.
It turns out that's how they were tracking you.
It was the only way to conceal your heart from them. But it won't work for long.
Though both Squall and his rival Cypher are featured in the Kingdom Hearts games, luckily they never meet, or things might have gotten pretty ugly. Number 4. Auron, Final Fantasy X. Easily our favorite character from one of our favorite Final Fantasy games, Auron was a welcomed cameo in the Kingdom Hearts series. Originally featured as one of the main characters in Final Fantasy X, Auron fought alongside both Lord Braska and his daughter Yuna in their respective battles against the evil Sin.
I wish to become your guardian. Do you accept?
You're serious?
The nature of Auron's character in Final Fantasy X, which we won't go into as it's a pretty big spoiler, made him the perfect Final Fantasy warrior to feature in Kingdom Hearts 2's various adventures in the underworld.
It seems we were fated to meet. Maybe you need a guardian.
Not one to blindly follow orders, Auron ends up betraying Hades and joining Sora and his friends in their fight against the Lord of the Dead.
Did you forget who you're talking to? I am the Lord of the Dead!
No wonder no one wants to die.
Number 3. Sephiroth, Final Fantasy VII franchise.
Good to see you, Cloud.
Final Fantasy's most iconic villain, Sephiroth was a no-brainer to feature in several Kingdom Hearts games. In Kingdom Hearts lore, Sephiroth represents the darkness within Cloud's heart, constantly antagonizing everyone's favorite spiky-haired soldier into doing battle with him. Sephiroth is a powerful and formidable opponent to both Cloud and Sora, serving as a secret boss in not one, but 2 separate Kingdom Hearts games. In both Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, Sephiroth provides a real test of Sora's skills as a Keyblade wielder, but in both cases, it seems it's still only Cloud who can hope to defeat him for good.
How'd you like that?
I admit you're very skilled. But apparently Cloud is the only one who can eliminate me.
Number 2. Cloud, Final Fantasy VII franchise.
I pity you. You just don't get it at all. There's not a thing I don't cherish.
Come on, you all knew this one was coming. As the opposite to Sephiroth's darkness, you can't possibly have one without the other, but Cloud's is a truly interesting placement in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, to say the least.
Yeah. Once I get rid of you, the darkness will go away.
Cloud is a truly complex character, both in his original adventures in Final Fantasy VII and in his various appearances in almost all of the Kingdom Hearts games to date. Cloud is constantly struggling with the darkness inside him, much in the same way Riku fights his own darkness. Easily manipulated by the darkness and those who command it, Cloud is often coaxed into doing things he might not necessarily agree with, so long as it helps him achieve his goals.
So, why did you go along with him anyway?
I'm looking for someone. Hades promised to help.
His interactions with Sora and friends are a constant reminder that you can always find a light within, no matter how deep the darkness may seem.
Cloud, you can have my light.
The light doesn't suit you.
I just don't know.
Number 1. The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You.
Not saying it is, but you could make it easier.
Yeah, sounds great. Whatever.
A truly marvelous game and quite possibly the most underrated game on the Nintendo DS console, The World Ends With You is absolutely our favorite Square Enix property featured in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. From its lovable and relatable characters to its deep and thought-provoking themes, The World Ends With You is a true gem that we highly recommend playing if you ever get the chance. But all that gushing aside, The World Ends With You's inclusion in Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance is one that brought about some serious insights into the Kingdom Hearts lore. For example, it wasn't until this game that we truly learned what Traverse Town's function was in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Think about that. Traverse Town had been featured in 3 separate games before Dream Drop Distance, and only now do we learn what its true purpose really is.
This town has a little secret. It only appears when someone out there has need of shelter.
Not to mention the absolutely wonderful character interactions between overly trusting Sora and social outcast Neku, as well as the truly interesting conversations between Riku and the mysterious Joshua. All we can say is, we sincerely hope this crew returns for Kingdom Hearts 3.
If it's dangerous, how can you just leave me here? Aren't you my knight in shining armor? Well?
Knight? You've got the wrong idea.
Oh my gosh, I was so just kidding.
That's it for this episode of Destiny Island's Top 10. If you agree with our list, or disagree, or if you have any ideas for countdowns you'd like to see on the show in the future, let us know in the comments below. For more Destiny Island's Top 10 countdowns, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Other Promise 13 from DestinyIslands.com.